I'm just really thankful for the opportunity. I've been following you on LinkedIn and just really excited about your new book. A little bit about me. I'm 40 years old. Last year, unfortunately, was my wife passing away April of 2023 due to cancer. And you can imagine after going through something like that, it's really changed my perspective on everything. And so when I saw if I just get 10 copies of this book that I could give to my friends and family, why not get an opportunity to just get to know you a little bit better and see how I could also benefit from just sharing about what's going on with me. So thanks
Yeah.
again for this opportunity.
I'm sorry to hear that about your loss. That's hard to put to words. I'm very sorry to hear that.
I think I've just learned to like make the most of every day. I mean, that life is short, you know. On my spare time, I like to blog and podcast. So I said, oh, this might be fun. And I train for triathlons. So I saw
Right.
you do endurance events. So I'm like, wow, this guy's cool how he could do all this stuff on social media, but still run 3 hour marathons. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's a meditative and like spiritual aspect to the training and competition process within sports that's hard to understand or put into words until you do it. But the peace I found through physical pursuits has been very significant.
That's great. I think that's one of the topics that I wanted to bring up. You know, I've been doing these triathlons. I just finished Ironman California, and then now
Congratulations.
it's like, well, what's next for me? Because again, it's it's great to do these events, but now I'm kind of like, what do I want? What else do I want to do? And when I read on your website, you want to impact 1 billion people. It's like, well, that's a bit much. If I could get to 100 YouTube followers, that would be great. Can you share a little bit about how you kind of came about with that goal, and also where are you going next now that your book is done?
Yeah, the billion number is something I get asked about a lot. I like to just set goals and visions that are extraordinarily ambitious. Because, I don't know if there's a very clear way for me to track that or to
Yeah,
actually say that I did or did not achieve that before the end of my days. But I know that the pursuit of that will lead to something positive. If I aim to impact 1 billion lives positively, that means a whole lot of things about how I act on a daily basis. It means that I'm going to have a sense of urgency around creating value for other people. It means I'm going to be the type of person with my wife and with my son as a husband and father that wants to create that value in our household, with my friends, with the people that I'm around. And that is important to me because if I found anything along the way, it's that the real joy is in the becoming, not in the having. And it's not the achievement of reaching 1 billion lives touched that matters to me. It's the journey. It's the
I
process of doing that. And it's the daily actions along the way. And so it's the exact same for running an Ironman. Like it's not the crossing the finish line as much as it is everything that went into that moment of crossing the finish line and how you changed as a human being in doing that. And so that's really the genesis of that
yeah,
idea, that concept, and what it means to me.
great. So it's really about the process, having that vision, but the process along the way of making you a better person, a better husband, and all that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I think there's like certain things that just have ripple effects into every other area of life.
What also was on my mind on my blog, I really like to talk about humility because I could tell you after reflecting on my wife's passing, reading some of her journals that she wrote that I didn't see till afterwards. It was a very humbling experience because I thought I knew everything. I know what we need to do in life. And then, well, again, after she's gone now, it's like, whoa, that was quite humbling. How do you stay humble on this journey you're on, given you've been very successful? And I mean, everything I see on your social media has been great.
I mean, I think a big part of it is there's a lot of things externally that look like wonderful achievements or like great things, but you are the only one that's aware of all of the struggle internally that contributes to those things and the struggle that you presently feel. And there's not a whole lot that I presently feel that tells me that like everything's great, I made it, this is the best. The things that I feel on a daily basis that bring me the most joy are my wife and son and spending time with them. But professionally, I'm just like, man, I got a long way to go. Every single day, I'm like, I'm not doing enough. I feel a lot of joy in the things I'm doing. I really enjoy it, but there's nothing that's like, oh, you made it. Okay, now you can chill. Now you don't have to do anything. You're like, I have this book. I'm very proud of the book and what I wrote, but now I need to make sure that a million people read it and see it. And that's going to take a long time, and it's going to take so much effort and energy to put into it. And so there's a separation between the like external perception of how you're doing and how people would assume that that makes you arrogant, and the internal perception of how you're doing, which is me just constantly telling myself that I have a long way to go and miles to go before I sleep, to quote Robert Frost. And that's how I feel. And so like, I don't, every time I feel like I figured life out, or like I have something figured out, I feel like I get punched in the face. And so now I just tend to assume that I have nothing figured out. And I have a lot more fun that way, because it makes me in a constant state of learning and growth rather than stasis. But yeah, that definitely keeps me humble.
Got it. Is there anything recently that's punched you in the face that you may want to share about?
I mean, there's family stuff all the time, health things in the family, unfortunately, that you can't control. Yeah, you know this as well as anybody. I mean, it's life comes out of nowhere. And we've had a lot of ups and downs that reason over the last couple of years. And fortunately, we've faced these things together, and you always have your people in that way, but very, very challenging. I mean, professionally, it's a constant wrestling match of like, are my ideas connecting as much as I think they should? Am I becoming irrelevant? Are there other people that are doing much better than me? Am I not doing the things I need to do? Is AI going to suddenly make me irrelevant? Like, there's one of the things I think people don't recognize is that the problems never change. They just get more pronounced. Like, the ups and downs just get more amplified. So like, when I was just starting out on Twitter, as an example, like, I would have thought, okay, if I have 1 million followers, everything's going to be perfect. It's going to be sunny every single day. I'm going to feel like the man.
Yeah.
People think I'm famous. This is so cool. But the reality of it is like, your posts get more likes, sure, but like, you face the exact same, oh man, are people going to enjoy this? Did people find
Yeah.
value in this? Yes or no? It's just on a different level. And like, when you screw up, the screw up is amplified. I mean, it's like big, there's so many people recognize it and see it. The wins are way higher because you're like, oh, what an amazing thing. I'm on the news because this post went viral. Like, it's just a big, big deal. But like, the problems fundamentally don't change. That it's just the swings get bigger. And so I feel that regularly, right? Like, this book, there's a lot of fear that I have associated with it because it's very public, and you're
Yeah.
putting yourself out there when you do something. And when you have a name or a platform, it's even more, right? Like, I'm going to go on some big TV shows or podcasts to talk about it. Like, if you screw up, it is out there that you screwed up.
Wow.
Or if the book sucks, it's out there that the book sucks. So that's scary.
I mean, there's a lot to process and all that. Do you ever think before all this, before the 700,000 newsletter followers, life was easier before? And sometimes you just kind of want to go back to that and have a, I don't know, simpler life?
No, I didn't have a simpler life, unfortunately. I had a much more miserable life. No, I wouldn't trade anything. My prior life was characterized by an endless chase for financial wealth that was robbing me of everything else. And it's why I wrote this book, because the last few years have all been about me redefining what a successful life, what a wealthy life looks like to me. And the biggest thing in all of that has been prioritizing my family and my relationships. And I wouldn't trade that for the world, the time I have with my son and the connection there.
That's what I think I find unique about what you're posting. You'll talk about your dad, you'll have pictures of your wife and your son. I don't see that as often with other people. I think just what I wrote down that's really been on my mind. I think that's what you put in the invite. Like, what's the one problem you have? I think it's been inspiring, my own friends and family regarding being healthy. I feel sometimes very alone in doing these races, and I want everyone to be healthy. I guess with your own friends and family, have you had a challenge like motivating them or wanting them to also do better in the area of health and all that?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Um, my parents especially, just because
Hmm.
I know the impact it's going to have on, them thriving in their latter years. And it's never been a part of their life in the way that it's part of my life, because I was a
Yeah.
college D1 athlete. Like, it's
Yeah.
always been a part of my life. Getting them to understand that, and understand that, like, for each other, it's the most important thing that they can be doing. to
Hmm.
make sure that they're going to thrive into their later years for all of us, for us and our time with them, for their grandkids and the time with them, like making them understand that the like relationship side of it has been a really important one.
That's a good reminder. I've been trying to also do the same with my own parents. I think having that vision for helping them see, it's for their future, their grandkids and all that, I think is good. I think there's a lot for me to unpack on all this. I mean, I guess anything else on your mind that you want to share?
No, this was great. And I'm really glad we got to connect, and hopefully it's the beginning of a friendship in real life.
Great. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. And
Awesome.
take care. Happy Thanksgiving.
Likewise.